Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. When you have a conference like this and so many people coming to speak, and then you have a samatah, and then I come, you feel like everything that you wanted to say has been said. And but I hope today that what I have to share with you will add to everything that you have had the opportunity to listen to. Let me first begin to thank Saadia for really organizing this wonderful conference, bringing so many people together, and the many team that have worked on making sure that we all came, and the people that drove from faraway states. It's never really not easy to put something like this, and it is usually a very, almost seems like a very thankless job. I hope you will have an opportunity to thank the organizers for putting this together through emails, through whatever form that you are able to. When I was asked to speak here, I chose a topic which sort of named Reflections on Somalia and the role of the youth diaspora. At first, really, I was very much interested in focusing on what has happened in Somalia since after the collapse of the Somali state, because I am a child of the civil war, and that is sort of still very fresh in my mind. I looked back, and all I could find was horror and all the things that has happened, and I realized, you know what, everybody who will probably be here have heard the stories. So there's no really reason to repeat what has happened. And then I thought about, what can I reflect about Somalia? What can I really say? And I thought, maybe, I almost called Saadia and said, I don't know where to go. And I just thought, like, maybe I can really reflect on Somalia as I remember, what I remember of Somalia pre-1991. And then all I found was very elementary things. So hopefully you're ready to hear elementary stuff from Somalia. And then I would like to probably look at the whole concept of Somalia as a homogeneous nation. Fawzia touched on it for a little bit, and Professor Samata sort of really touched on the whole issue about identity. And when you have an identity, it means there is a difference. I will talk a little bit about maybe power sharing, which I always think is very problematic, because as we know, it has never worked. We've had about 14 reconciliation conferences, and we still have some serious problems. So let me begin. And I'm one of those people that read what they write. And so I'm sorry if I don't make eye contact, because I want to stay on what I want to say. I will speak probably for about maybe 8 minutes or 10 minutes, and I will be happy to take any questions if there is time. I'm thankful to speak with you about our country. As the youth of the diaspora, we have become really the inheritors of this bloody conflict. We basically inherited this. Not us, but also our parents, and probably our children will do the same. Somalia is probably one of the most misunderstood countries in our world. Our story as people is really misconstrued, and the ruins of our country and the plight of our people these days almost does not really stir compassion. And to the world, we have become a source of threat, and our plight is almost to the side. Of course, you all have images of the country's plight. But I know of Somalia, it was not always been like this, at least for me. I remember Somalia with beautiful cities, strong government, strong faith in Islam. And I do remember as boys and girls with our friends going to the concerts and making sure that every concert that comes out we went to see. And I do remember forcing our friends to tell us the movies that they have seen. And there was never really the question of, please don't spoil the story for me because I will go and see. You always listen to the stories of the movies that you went to see. And when there was no concert, do people like ambolo? Yeah? At night, we always ate ambolo. I tell you, that was, I don't know, maybe it is sort of a particular region, but always at night we had ambolo. And I do remember our fathers and my aunts and my sisters always telling us the stories of our struggles for independence. And sometimes, of course, those stories of glory will be followed by the next night, maybe the stories of knife wielding, datqalato, which is quite horrifying. But this is what has informed us about Somalia. And we never had to worry about AK-47s flying from close by. And being a Somali was not really a problem. It's not, you never thought, yeah, being a Somali is a problem because that's how we are seen. People are asking me today, like, oh, where are you from? I'm from Somalia. And the next question is, ooh, you guys have got some troubles. And I'm like, I used to laugh about it, but now I'm kind of sad because it's almost more than half of my life. It's, so what this has sort of left us with, as the diaspora, in one way or another, we do really carry the scars of that, of the memory of loss, of country, of friends, and of a memory of a country that's really bleeding. And that's really the image I have of my country to this day. Now the question is, like, how did we really get here? And what role as young people? I'm not really young. I'm like 32. When I was really writing this, and I wrote like, we as the young people, and I was like, maybe I'm not really that young. So how did we get here, and what is our role? And I thought, as I thought about this very hard for a long time, and you have an evolution of thinking as you go along. What I really found is that the seed of this conflict really lies in the assumption of, as we as Somalis, we are homogeneous people. We are one people. Now, what I have to say and what I have to offer probably is not widely shared. But I think it is important to really explore questions and some basic assumptions that we sort of take for granted. Now, first, we've been told that we are all homogeneous society simply because we're all Muslims, we have the same culture, and speak the same language. This is really a very European concept. It buries the diverse differences, experiences, history, and the grievances that Somalis have against each other. We have been told that we are basically different tribes, but basically we are the same people. Now, I do find that there are some serious problems with this assumption, and as Somalis, we really sort of bought into this. It is almost a powerful myth, and myths are really very hard to dispel. And it has become very hard for us to acknowledge the difference that we have as people. Now, there is a body of research out there that that sort of say like salient identities that, or conditions of intergroup categorization. The more likely groups are similar or dissimilar, the more they will work very hard to distinguish themselves from the other. which that basically means the more I tell you, what's your name, brother? The more I tell Ahmed, Ahmed, you and I are the same, the more Ahmed will work so hard to distinguish himself from me. Because that's almost, as a human, we always like to distinguish from others. And I say it's this very reason of we are all the same that makes it harder for us to listen to each other and to come up with workable methods of listening to each other's grievances. Because grievances in Somalia is a very important word, and we don't even talk about it. Grievances and our own experiences of the civil war or beyond the civil war, and our own history. Now, the concept of homogeneity also cripples our ability to form a government. You can see, because when you are homogeneous, I got time. 4 minutes. All right, I'll be very quick. So when you say we're a homogeneous society, we all come together and we have this big reconciliation conference. And then the next really big thing that we do is, or we have done is like, oh, let's share power. And then usually people, you see people really talking about the 4.5 formula as very problematic and very dangerous. And I say like what we really need in Somalia is not the sharing of power, but mechanisms for inter-tribal institutions that promote commonalities, mutual benefits, and interdependence, that we as Somalis, we are really interdependent with each other. An initiative that will really reduce our salient tribal identities, which we all know that they do exist. And maybe as Somalis, it was very interesting, we need to come up with forming new identities. Professor Samatai had a very interesting identity. He sees himself as an American, he sees himself as something else. And now the new formation, which I really think what is happening in Somalia is like the new formation of identity, especially with the Islamicists in Somalia. That's really a kind of a new identity that is formed along Islamic ideology. Not Islamic ideology, really. Something else that I don't really know what it is. Now, the Somali youth has always been really a pivotal force for good in Somalia. Our independence was really charted and won by young Somalis from diverse tribes. They whispered and raised our consciousness as people. Our founding youth were able to free us from the shackles of colonialism. It was the youth that helped write the Somali language in the last Central Somali government that we had. And it was the youth that helped, almost done, that helped with the drought of the 1970s. And I hope, I encourage the youth to really claim your history and claim the role that you have, a very important role. Thank you so much.